Okay, so this is my political flyer roundup for the election, because I've had quite a few. Like, loads. So, yep, I thought I'd do a quick video on each of the flyers from political parties. Well, not each flyer, but from each political party, just into slides. Okay. So this is a brief introduction, and then the Liberal Democrats, because I've only had one flyer and they had to come in somewhere. Okay, so that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to claim this as an unbiased videos collection, because anyone who says they're unbiased is lying to you, because everyone's biased, and those who try to be non-biased just make their biases even more clear to anybody who really thinks about what they're saying. Okay, so moving on. Liberal Democrats. It's a fairly standard flyer. It tells you who they are. This is Northampton North, by the way, if those of you who live locally. Gives you a fairly generic blah 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 about the candidate. She has 2 sons. That's relevant. Okay, so it goes on about her background, and then it moves on to, this is what I want to do for Northampton North, and a couple of things I want to do. So far so good. The back part of this flyer, though, is the bit that I really liked. Initially, I thought this was really clever, because at the top we have, what have the Liberal Democrats done for you? Now that to me reminds me of the old adage of, what did the Romans ever do for us? And I thought that was quite clever, really. Hats off to them for that. That was quite clever. Later on, I came to know that maybe this wasn't in fact deliberate, maybe it was an error. I hope it was an error, for reasons I'll cover. So, they've secured the biggest ever cash rise for state pensions. Okay. Free school meals. Increased childcare. Tax. They are the party of fair tax. Come back to that in a minute. Mental health. Okay. Working on mental health people now. We're treating it on an equal footing to physical health, basically, which is going to be a good thing. And they've created a load of apprenticeships. Okay, fine. And finally, we have balancing the economy, because obviously everybody talks about balancing the economy, even though they actually don't say anything really about it quite often. Okay, so what's the problem with this? Starts quite well. What have the Romans ever done for us? Only Liberal Democrats. Clever. At the end of each one of these, so it doesn't say on pensions for some reason, but on there, all the other ones, free school meals, increased childcare, it says, we want to do more. Now, that sounds eerily like a certain sci-fi film. Now, for those of you who haven't watched Starship Troopers, I'd suggest you watch it. Not because it's an amazingly great film, but because it's a very good film that explains governments controlling populations through propaganda and force. Basically tyrannical governments. And at the end of every single one of their news bulletins, where they pump out their propaganda to their populace, they say, would you like to know more? And here we have the Liberal Democrats. We want to do more. It's exactly the same. It's the same number of flipping words. They'll just put it in a way to you. If you are running for government now, you should never, ever quote propaganda-filled Starship Troopers movies. So I really hope they haven't deliberately done this. But then that makes me think, maybe they haven't deliberately quoted what have the Romans ever done for us. Which is a shame, because that was quite clever. But quoting Starship Troopers as a government propaganda pumping machine, not cool. Don't do it. It's bad. Next thing you know, you'll be quoting a certain nationalist party, that brought the whole world to war. But I'll leave that for a later video, as you can imagine. Okay, so moving backwards onwards. Liberal Democrats. This is the only flyer we've had. Northampton North is obviously a very hotly contested area between 2 parties. I'll let you work out which 2 you think they are. That is the one flyer we've had. I think the Liberal Democrats have kind of gone, well, we need to send something out. You never know, we might catch a waif or stray on their way to the polling booth. So maybe they have. I think this election is a golden opportunity to tell politicians, if you lie to us, if you stab us in the back once you're in power, we will destroy you in the next election. This is a golden opportunity. We all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Nick Clegg, or the Liberal Democrats, as he's their head. Well done, you've tied yourself with this brush. Now, I don't care who you vote for, as long as you vote. I think voting is important. Until we have a none of the above option, you need to vote, because it's the only thing you can realistically do in a polling booth is to vote. If you spoil your vote, it will be counted and then disregarded. They don't care about non-voters. They don't care about spoiled ballots, really. They have to count them, but they don't do anything with that information. So it's a lie to suggest that spoiling the ballot's a good idea. But we have a real good opportunity. The Liberal Democrats got into power and they lied their asses off. When they got into power, they were engaged on their biggest promise. They were practically a single policy party when they got into power, and they reneged on that single policy. Imagine what would happen if UKIP got into power and they said, you know what, we're not going to take you out of the EU, we were lying. They would never get votes again. Seriously. So I think this is important. So I don't care who you vote for. Just don't vote for Liberal Democrats. Vote against them. In every seat. Let's destroy them. It's not specifically because it's Liberal Democrats. It's because this is an opportunity to say, politicians who lie get screwed over in 5 years. They're going to make the most out of those 5 years anyway. Once you get into politics for 5 years, you've got a guaranteed pension when you retire. A politician's pension, which is massive. 200,000 a year, as long as you sit in Westminster as an MP. That's it. Brilliant. No right to recall in this country at this point. We really need to get that in there, because then we don't have to wait 5 years before we can punish an MP for being a lying piece of shit. So, don't vote Liberal Democrats. I know that some of you will vote for them anyway, because you always vote for the same party. People who vote for the same party, regardless of their policies, regardless of their track history, are as big a part of the problem as people who don't vote at all. I don't care which party you vote for. If you always vote for Labour, regardless of their manifesto, regardless of what they've said, regardless of what they've done, you are as much of a part of the problem as the person who never votes. I know, it's hard. It's a complicated issue, isn't it? But that's it. So that's the end of my first video. It's an introduction. Liberal Democrats, opportunity to kick them in the arse and say to all of the politicians of all the political parties, this will be your fate if you lie to us to get a slight switch of power. Moving on, I will go for Labour, UKIP and Conservatives. I'll probably have a breather, have a drink, have a think, all that kind of shenanigans. And now, meme it up!